Hello and welcome back to The Talk. Now, Harry and Meghan might think of themselves as the wokest Windsors, but Will and Kate have blown them out of the water when it comes to putting money where their mouth is. The latest Charity Commission report shows the Wales's Royal Foundation gave away £7 million in grants in 2022, while the Sussexes handed out just £1.6 million. Now, it follows reports that Harry and Meghans Archewell Foundation suffered a nearly £9 million drop in donations last year, leaving the charity in the red. Among projects the couple supported were a gender justice initiative, which seeks to educate judges on harmful bias against black women, and the anti-landmine trust Halo. Meanwhile, Kate and Will's Royal Foundation concentrates on mental health and early years support, as well as the environment and conservation. It's another day, it's another comparison that doesn't make Harry and Meghan look good. There is one very obvious explanation, which is that William is, one of the richest men in the country, one of the richest people in the country, and has an awful lot more money to splash about, whether it's on charity issues, than his younger brother, Harry. And there will be lots of raised eyebrows about Meghan's choice of the many. And I did look through, all the things that Archewell's been giving to. That one of them is the fight against unconscious bias, particularly against black women. However, the podcast that she did and invested a huge amount of personal time in and got all her celebrity chums to do, which was called Stereotypes? Archetypes, there we go, was all about that issue. So it is something that she genuinely cares about, whether or not it's to everybody's taste, whether or not people are going to be rolling their eyes as some in this studio are about it. She's allowed to choose the issues that she cares about, is all I'm saying. And if everybody chose the same issues, then charities, wouldn't be able to do an awful lot of the work they do. So I'm kind of like, whatever.
I think it's an unfair comparison because in the last 2 years, and my numbers are in dollars, I'm afraid. I haven't bothered to convert it to quids. No. In the last 2 years, Harry and Meghans have got in $12 million in donations, give or take. William and Kate, $37 million across the same time period. So it makes sense that they'd have a higher rate distribution rate.
Yeah.
I know, but one's attracted more. But I mean, he's the future king, in a sense, of course.
But my understanding was they got $12 million and then the following year they went down to $2 million. But they were reliant only on 3 donors.
Yeah.
One of who gave $10 million US.
One person gave 10 million and then 2 people gave 1 million.
I had a look at their accounts as well. So if you look at... I know, look at me. But when you look at the way that...
David, this is The Talk, not Panorama.
I'm
very diligent, so...
But when you look at how much they pay their staff, it's way out of kilter.
Yeah.
So it's set up really badly in terms of a company structure, charitable structure. So they're paying like $700,000 US, but if you're only putting in $2 million, then you don't have much cash to actually give to good causes.
Yeah, that's a
in
good
fact,
point.
they gave flooding in Africa, which is a great charity. What did they give them? They gave them $10,000. So I agree. What is the proposition? What is it meant to do? And then once you define that, maybe you get more people to invest.
The trouble is, one of the many problems, they're not kind of conventionally famous. They're famous in this curious default way. He's famous for obvious reasons. She was a bit of an actress that, made a thing called Suits, which did okay. But broadly speaking, they're now famous for being famous. And there's so many bear traps in that disposition. And this is one of them, because nobody can quite pigeonhole.
Or isn't it rather than being famous, in many people's minds, they're infamous?
Or infamousy.
And actually, that there is a concern. If you want to donate to a charity, do you choose them and wonder what they're going to do next that may actually taint your money in a sort of way?
That is exactly the point. Yeah. And they've done the book, they've done the Netflix thing, they've done the podcast, they've done appearances. I mean, I'm just waiting for them to turn up as the new landlord and landlady in the Rovers return.
And also, just going back to what we were saying about, a lot of politicians looking out for themselves. A lot of people who give to charities choose those charities for what they can get back. If you are giving to the future king of England, king of Great Britain, you've got a very good chance of all sorts of hobnobbing opportunities to come up in the future, which is why, Charles always found it easy to raise a lot of money for his charities, and William will too. It just comes with the territory.
You said you looked at the accounts. It's not a UK-based charity, though?
No.
So there are really... One thing that makes it more surprising that they haven't raised more is there's much more of a culture of philanthropy in the US.
Yes.
So you would have expected that to actually pay in their favour.
So that was really what I was saying about what is the proposition? What do you actually stand for? Because when you look at the charitable donations, none of that really, there's no theme.
Yeah.
It made no sense. So if you're going to donate money, surely you want to feel that these are passionate causes that you feel really are important.
Do you know about, when they talk about the Hollywood Bible, they talk about the Hollywood Reporter, the LA Players magazine. This is another big blow for Has and Megs because they've been named two of the biggest losers of 2023. Very unkind way of describing things, but they came straight to the point. The Beverly Hills Bible slammed the couple's whiny Netflix documentary and Harry's whiny biography Spare. They cited Meghan's podcast archetypes of being dropped by Spotify after just one season. And of course, we also know that their £88 million documentary ranked just 211th on Netflix's most watched list. 5 behind Peppa Pig and Paw Patrol, which, by the way, is one of my favourites.
I mean, Peppa Pig is just brilliant. As every parent will know, the amount of car journeys we survived thanks to Peppa Pig. I will not hear a word against it.
Let me interject 2 things here, Collins, right?
Come on.
First of all, that winners and losers list, they also classed Barbie as a winner. That man-hating movie should not be on the winners list, OK? They also said Britain. They said that Britain is thank you. They said that Britain is also a big winner because we worked through the writers' strike. This country is falling apart.
Yeah,
this
right.
is not a winning country. Exactly.
Ridiculous. They discredited
The
their whole
didn't really
list.
affect us anyway, did it?
No, it didn't. Exactly. It's ridiculous.
It affected a lot of workers in this country.
And as for
but over there?
over here, in the film.
Because of the unions, right?
And as for the Netflix rankings, what they're judging it on is what they're judging it on is how many times people are rewatching rather than how many times it's been watched.
Okay.
So, in terms of factual, Harry and Meghan is still the most successful documentary series Netflix have ever produced. But Peppa Pig or The Office, you can watch again and again and again and again. And kids do.
Really do.
And adults do. I've watched The Office series 30, 40 times. But the documentary and factual, you'd only ever really watch that kind of thing once. So it's not a fair comparison.
It's not entirely true. My big fact.
No, it is true.
My
It
big
is. I just said
Gypsy Wedding. I used to watch on the hour when that thing was. I loved that programme. It's fantastic. I want one of those dresses.
But I think that's really interesting from the Hollywood Reporter. I mean, it is the Bible over there in showbiz land. So does it mean that America is falling out of love with the couple?
I don't think they were ever in love.
Well, I agree. I was listening to Kinsey Schofield on this channel earlier this morning, and she was saying that actually the tide has turned. And I think that's true, actually, that fundamentally the Americans love the Brits. They've always loved everything about this culture. And maybe the scales are falling from their eyes and they can see what the rest of us see.
Next time she steps out, Meghan steps out in a dress, and it gets written about on the Daily Mail or the Sun online, and it sells out in a second, you can tell me that statement again, because I'm telling you, the Americans...
I never believe those things,
But it's factual.
Pair of shoes. Well, somebody says it's factual.
Because you go on the website to buy them and they're sold out.
Well, how often do you try to buy Meghan's shoes, Jason?
Often, thank you, Colin.
Seriously.
JJ and Meghan's shoes, you in the big fat gypsy wedding dress.
Oh, yes.
It's really... We're getting into...
I thought JJ was more Judy Garland when it came to slippers.
I'm a bit of both.
There you go, it's good.
Yeah, fair. But actually,
Never doubted
just before we move on, just because you like the way somebody's dresses and just because you might want to wear their shoes doesn't mean that you necessarily like that person.
I agree.
So I think Meghan could still sell, make a lot of money, be a very influential influencer,
even though
and sell a lot of shoes, but
no
have
longer
quite a low
respect her.
popularity.
Never happens with Blokes Club. Nobody ever goes, I must buy one of Harry's grey blazers. No one ever said that, do they? It never happens.
I think they probably do say it about your suits.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.